Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to Writer's Workshop. You guys have been so hard at work writing your stories, and your teachers and I have loved reading them and getting to know more about small moments from your life. So, something that you may have noticed now that you've written some stories, have you ever noticed that it's kind of hard to reread your work? So, maybe you've looked at a story that you wrote yesterday or the day before, and can you tap your nose if you realized it was kind of tricky to read your words? You know that when you wrote them, it made sense, but now that when you go back to read them, it's kind of tricky. You're having a hard time sounding it out. That's happened to me before too. And it also has happened to my friend Kariba. Let me show you his story about riding his bike. So he wrote a story all about a small moment from his life about riding his bike. And I asked him to tell me about the story. I was having a little bit of a hard time reading his writing, but I know he knew what it said, so we worked together. He told me this first page says, "I saw a bumpy road." And I noticed for that last word, he did write RD, which is the beginning sound, road, and D is the ending sound of road. I think I'm noticing that he's just missing those middle sounds in between. He shared with me that the next page says, "I was too scared." And I see again, he does have the beginning and ending sound of scared, S and D, S and D, but he's missing those in-between sounds, in between the beginning and end of a word. And last, he told me this page says, "I did it by myself." And I noticed for the word myself, he did start to write down some of those sounds in between. He has M, and the Y for my, and then he does have the S for self and F at the end. So today, we will learn that when you want to write a word that you don't know, you've got to work hard to hear and write all of the sounds. Just like Kariba has learned, we're not only going to write the beginning and ending sound, but we're also going to write all the sounds in between. So here's a strategy that you can use to help you sound out and write all of the letters and sounds in a whole word. So it goes like this. Say it, slide it, hear it, write it. Once again, it's say it, slide it, hear it, write it. So that means if we were sounding out a tricky word like dog, maybe dog is a tricky word for you. What we're going to do first, when we have our writing paper, we're going to say it, dog, and we're going to slide it, dog, dog, and I'm going to hear it. What are the sounds that I hear? So let me do that again. Say it, slide it. Dog. What do you hear first? A D, that's right. So I'm going to write it. I say it, slide it. I hear it, I write it. Og. Og. What comes next? Oh, great job. And let's see if you can do it. Say it and slide it. Dog. What did we hear at the end? Dog. We heard G. That's right. So once again, if you are on a tricky word, we can say it, slide it, hear it, write it. And we do that over and over throughout a word. Another strategy is to use snap words. And snap words means that you can write it in a snap. And when I'm thinking about words that I could write in a snap, I'm thinking about my word wall words and my sight words that you maybe had on the wall in first grade or kindergarten. Those words that were on the wall, those words that I know in a snap. I don't even have to say them out loud or sound them out. I know exactly how to spell them. For example, maybe the word can. I don't have to sound out the word can. I remember how to spell it when I was practicing my sight words. It's C-A-N. And that means that that's a word that I know in a snap. So when I'm writing, I can also think, is this a snap word? Is this a word that I know in a snap? Or maybe when I am in the classroom, you can look at the word wall. And last, another strategy that you can use is to listen for little words inside. What's neat is many of our words, boys and girls, actually have other words hiding inside of them. For example, the word winter, I want you to hear that. Winter. Do you hear any words inside of that? Winter. Ooh, some friends, maybe they hear the word win. Maybe you hear the word in. And I know how to spell win and I know how to spell in. So I can use those chunks, to help me spell the whole word winter because I know that chunk. So today, the strategy that I'm going to have you help me do is that say it, slide it, hear it, write it. So remember, we're going to say the word while our finger is moving across the page. We're going to slide. We're going to hear the sounds and we're going to write it down. And we're just going to keep repeating that. Say it, slide it, hear it, write it, till I get to the very end of the word, bit by bit. So I'm going to show you a story that I was working on yesterday. It's all about a time that my brother and I were in the snow and we were sledding. So I already have the first page written out. One snowy day, I went sledding with my brother. We went to the top of the hill and my brother gave me a big... So what I want to say next is that my brother gave me a big push and I went faster and faster. So let's take a look at that. I have big written, but I'm ready to write the word push. So can you, friends, you can use the palm of your hand. Can you help me do say it, slide it, hear it, write it for the word push? A big push, push. What is that first sound that you hear? Write it down on your palm with your finger. That's right. P, P. I hear a P, P. Now I'm going to say and slide it again. Push, push. Ooh. I think that's the vowel U. What do you think? Let's write it. I'm going to write that U. And ready? I'm going to say and slide it again because I'm not done with the word. Push, push. Ooh, shh. I've heard that sound before. You know what? I've heard that sound at the beginning of the word shoe. And I know the word shoe begins with SH. Sh, ooh, I'm going to write that. Can you write that with me? Sh, SH. So I've written PUSH, push. So we did say it, slide it, hear it, write it. And I was able to write that big tricky word, push. Thanks for helping me. So now I'm ready to write the next part. Remember I said, we went to the top of the hill and my brother gave me a big push and I went faster and faster. I know how to spell those words. I went. That is a word that I know in a snap because I remember it from my word wall. So I didn't even have to do say it, slide it, hear it, write it. I knew it in a snap, so I just went ahead and wrote it real quick. I went faster. Can you friends do say it, slide it, hear it, write it with me? Let's get our palm out and get your magic writing pen. Faster, faster. Yep, I hear a Fifi fish F too. Faster. I'm going to write that letter F. And let's say, slide it, hear it, write it again for the rest of faster. Faster. What do we hear next? I hear A too. Let's write that A. Faster. Let's say and slide it. Faster. Ooh, I hear st. S-T. Let's write that. S-T. Faster. Ooh, faster. I know when is at the end of a word like fast, it's going to be ER. Let me write that. ER. I went faster and faster. I know how to write the word and because that's a snap word. And then when I want to write faster again, I'm just going to look at when I spelled it earlier. Faster and faster. Down the hill. Now I've got it written using my say it, slide it, hear it, write it, and by thinking of words that I know in a snap. Thank you, boys and girls, for helping me. So when you friends are writing today, remember you can say it, slide it, hear it, write it. That way you can remember every single letter and sound in the word. So when you go to reread your story tomorrow, or other people go to read your story, they'll be able to read it because they can hear and see those middle sounds. The whole word will be there. So remember, you're going to say the word while your finger is sliding across the page. You're going to listen carefully for the first sound and write it. And then you're going to keep saying the word out loud and adding those sounds until you get to the very end of the word. And keep doing that with any word that's tricky. So now it's your turn to spell on your own and add to your stories. Now remember, wherever you're at in our writing process, you might be just now thinking of a new idea to write about, and so you're going to touch, tell, and sketch. Or maybe you're already writing, and now you're going to go back and look at the spelling of your words in your story and see how you can say it, slide it, hear it, write it, or use snap words to make the words more clear for when your readers read your story or for when you go back to reread your story. Happy writing, friends! I can't wait to read more of your stories.